Hey everyone, Terrace here. All right, I'm super excited because I got a good friend of mine, Royale, here.
So, you sure I'm a good friend of yours?
Yeah, well, we met a couple of months ago, but we got connected.
We got great friends.
Oh
yes.
yeah, and I spent actually quite a bit of time with you. You know, face to face. We talked. You helped my brother get his very first home, which I'm honored for. Thank you, by the way.
Yes.
Now, for you guys that don't know, Royale is a phenomenal real estate agent. His office is in the Auburn Federal Way area. He's incredible, been in the business for a long time, well-seasoned, well-versed real estate agent, and that's why I brought him on here today. Number one is I know there's a lot of noise in the market. I know there's a lot of confusion in the market, so I wanted to bring a well-seasoned, well-versed real estate agent that really knows what they're doing here over to our podcast. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you. This is where I hear the applause and stuff.
That's great.
Absolutely, Terrace, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
You know, this is actually it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
It's nice talking to someone that's so savvy as well.
Yeah.
A little bit about me. I've been in the business for over 21 years, and I've pretty much worked in so many different areas in the state of Washington. But Auburn is my main area, but I'm not limited to the city of Auburn. So it's actually a pleasure to actually assist your brother in his home purchase.
Yeah.
And that was an experience. It was a different kind of deal.
Yeah.
Unique, but never unique to me, but it's just unique on its own.
Yeah. No, which is fantastic. And so tell me, let's start with this. Where is your market? Like, where are you most, I want to say, experienced? Because a lot of I know you can do deals all over Washington State,
correct,
right? But where is your market where you primarily work out of?
Pretty much I cover the King County area.
King County?
Pierce County area.
Okay.
I pretty much like the Spanaway area because it's still a growing market and the price is right there. You could get a lot for your money.
Oh, yeah.
But when it comes down to the main core area that I'm now focusing on is the city of Auburn.
So city of Auburn, but King County, you do deals all over King.
All over King.
And all over Pierce.
Absolutely.
Okay, so very experienced, which is fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Which was fantastic.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, which is great. So how did you get into real estate? Like, what was your story from, like, what did you do prior to real estate, and then how did you transition into becoming a realtor?
Are you sure we have enough time for this?
We do. Let's go. I want to hear this.
I started real estate as soon as I got out of, actually, I was in the military first.
Okay.
I got out of the military in 1999, and from there, I was trying to find my foot, where to work, have a job, and whatsoever. And eventually, I saw a sign on the road, and that sign says now hiring whatsoever. And I walked into that establishment in the city of Kent, and I met a great broker named Jack.
Okay.
Jack has now passed away, God rest his soul, and he took me on board. He made me take a test, and as soon as he saw the results of the test, he said, "You know what, Royal, I'm gonna pay for your school, and I want you to work with me." And that was history from there.
Wow.
So from 2000 onward, I've been a real estate agent.
Wow.
Real estate broker, and now I currently own my own real estate firm.
Wow, fantastic. So Jack really gave you an opportunity.
Oh, it was a great opportunity. You can't touch that opportunity. It's actually deeper than that because at the time I was a single father with a kid. And to go through the real estate process, to go through that journey and try to pass the state exam with a kid on your side, and you don't even know where your next payment is going to come from to pay the mortgage, to pay the car note. It was a little bit tough. So individual like Jack Robinson, God rest his soul, made the difference and transformed my life forever.
Oh, no, that is incredible. I didn't know that you used to serve, so first off, thank you for your service.
My pleasure.
That is incredible.
My pleasure.
And so then you met Jack, you got connected with him, you became a realtor, you became a broker, and what were your first couple, I know the first couple of years are really tough, right? So what did you do to establish yourself in the market?
Well, the main thing here with the market, a lot of people would choose to work with you if they could trust you.
Yeah.
All right, so the first thing I needed to do is make sure people trust me. And the second option was to make sure you're available when they call upon you, and I did that. So one of the major things that I did was put my face out there on the market, advertise. Back then we had, we still have it to today, but everybody barely uses it. We had the magazine ads where we post half a page or full page, and that's what we did. That's what I did to promote myself. So that was a major key, and apart from that, one of my stories that I like to tell everybody, if you're a real estate agent out there, is the fact that the person you hand your business card to up front at first is not the main person that's going to buy from you. It could be a family member eventually of that individual. All right, so I'm going to tell you a funky story. All right. Back then on Highway 320th in Federal Way, there was a club called Cafe Arizona.
Okay.
In Cafe Arizona, in my very early stage, I used to go to that club and hand out my business card.
Oh, no way.
Yes, I'm giving you a business card. Here's my business card. Use my business, and that's the way I promote because I didn't have no family members in the city.
Yeah.
In Seattle.
Yeah.
So that was the way I started my early days, and eventually I received a call. My very first client. He had my business. He called me and said, "Hey, are you Royal?" I said, "Yes." I see your business card on my coffee table. I don't know where my son got it from. And
That's funny.
And
Like, you don't want to know. You don't want to know where you got it.
Eventually, what happened was he called me and he bought a couple of homes from me.
Wow.
So it was one of my very, very first sell. Yeah. And I know for a fact if you put your business card out there to the public, eventually you cannot be another undercover real estate agent. Yeah. Simple in this business, or an undercover mortgage broker, for instance. Yeah. Right. So eventually, give your card out. And eventually you'll get a call. Yeah,
which is a big deal, right? A lot of people, I want to say, that get into the business, it's almost like they're shy about the networking aspect of it, right? Which is interesting to me because it's like, well, if your number one job is to go out and serve families with the most financial and largest purchase of their life, right, which could be incredibly rewarding for them, which is incredibly rewarding for you as a broker, that's what you should be doing, going out and handing out your cards, connecting with people, which a lot of people don't do. And I find that a little bit shocking, right? It's like, hey, wherever you go, it's like just like you said, you went to the club and you're like, hey, I'm just going to hand out my cards to everyone and anyone that I know, and you get deals. And I'm sure outside of that, to any establishment you'd go to, you'd say, hey, here's my card. I'm a realtor. I'll help you with all of your needs. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal.
It's a great way to begin.
Yeah.
It's a great way to begin. If you can maintain it, that's good. But I mean, I'm going on, 4 or 5 years without heavy marketing, and all my business now is repeat business. Starting past from clients. That one, past clients, repeat business, referral business, and word of mouth. And it started all from that one card I gave out in the beginning.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yes.
That's fantastic. So now that you've been doing this again, I want to say, 2 decades plus?
Don't go there.
Long time, which is good. Your experience, which is amazing.
Yes.
So what are a few common questions that, let's say, a first-time home buyer or a move-up client has about today's market? Like, what are a few common questions that arise, and how do you kind of help resolve those, really help them get the answers that they need?
The first question is where to start.
Where to start, okay.
A lot of people out there want to buy homes.
Yeah.
And they actually do not know where to start. So they're looking for that helping hand, someone to guide them through the process. So first step, most of those questions that they ask me, where to start, how much could I afford?
Okay.
What is the best place to purchase?
Okay.
And will I be able to get a deal?
There we go.
Everybody wants the deal,
Yeah, of course. So when somebody says, hey, where do I start? How do you walk that client through that process?
I have something called the home buying process or the buyer's process. And pretty much it's like it's a cycle. It starts from the left and end up to the right. Okay. The furthest right is actually you got the keys to the house. Okay. The beginning stage is first you want to talk to a lender such as like Taras. All right, you want to talk to them, sit down with them to know exactly what amount you can afford, what amount you should not exceed. And that's the very, very first step. Before you even speak to a realtor, speak with a lender first and find out exactly what you qualify for.
And then the qualification happens, and then now they have a approval letter.
Correct.
And they reconnect with you, and they're like, hey, this is what I'm approved for. And you're like, all right, based off of this approval, you can buy this big house.
Exactly.
Or based off of this approval, you can go buy this dog house, right?
Exactly.
It depends on the approval.
Exactly. It all depends on the approval. Yeah. The main thing here is at least you know where you should not exceed, the amount you do not want to exceed. And also, in the case where you're trying to buy right now, if there's any kinks in your credit report, individuals lenders such as Taras will know how to fix those things. They will tell you exactly what you need to take care of it, so that at least you're planning ahead to make sure everything is
smooth
in line and in line with exactly what you're looking for. Yeah. Get your scores up, pretty much, to make it possible, so you can have a lower interest rate and be able to afford the house that you really want.
Yeah.
Rather than settling for less.
Yeah, which is a big deal. I mean, that's one factor that I'm seeing today, like even in mid 2022 onward, even today, is credit. It's a big factor with clients. There was a lot of fake money in 2020 and 2021, right? We had the Federal Reserve, the U.S. government. How much money did they print? Not $16 trillion. A lot of free money. So people got a lot of loans.
Wow.
A lot of car loans, a lot of additional student loans, boat loans, RV loans, equities that were pulled out, personal loans. There's so much extra debt that we're seeing today. So figuring out to a plan. Now, my philosophy is this. It's not like somebody does not qualify. Everyone qualifies for a home. That's my philosophy.
Yes.
But it's when do they qualify, right?
Correct.
What do you need to do today in order to get you into the home that you want tomorrow, right? And then another factor that I love talking with first-time home buyers or move-up clients is, hey, what's your 5-year real estate goal? Like, what's your vision for the next 5 years when it comes to real estate? And some people will say, hey, I actually want to live in this city. Okay, perfect. Well, what does that look like? Maybe they can't afford to live in that city right now. Well, from an affordability standpoint, how much money do you need to make, right? And then how much do you need to save? And oftentimes, it's very, very, very hard to make and save that amount while trying to, I want to say, be speculative to the market. You can't beat the market. So what do? You buy a home not in your dream location, but you buy a home that's maybe a little bit smaller. Maybe that can appreciate in value. You can do small little rehabs, and then versus being speculative to the market and playing against the market, you play the game, right? Where you build that appreciation. You live in that home for 2 years, so you don't have to pay any capital gains tax, and you roll that equity into now your new home.
And I strongly believe in what you just said. Majority of the time, your first home might not be the home that you really want.
Yeah.
But it will be a great starter home for your future investment property or your investment home. All right. Majority of the time, people do ask me this question: is when is the best time to buy a home?
Yeah.
Right. And I said a minute ago, or I'll say 7 years ago.
5 years ago.
But to be honest, one of the best time to buy a home is when you should know you have at least 2 years of consecutive employment.
Yes.
Solid employment. And Taras will tell you this, that if you're having a job, if you're on and off in multiple different jobs, it might be complicated for him to actually make things happen, but I've seen him done.
Yeah.
You've done some miracles.
It happened. As long as we have not large unemployment gaps.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Then my team will make it happen. It's not going to be an issue.
I got a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where do you see the interest rate in 2 years from now, or 2025? Let's see.
Okay.
What do you see? How low you think it will go?
Well, I'll tell you this. If I knew where interest rates were going to go, I'd be a mortgage back. I want to say stockbroker or bond broker. I'd probably be worth $1 billion, right? But I don't know, right? So,
but you're already worth $1 billion, right?
Right. That's right. I'll tell you this. Rates. I think we saw the worst of interest rates 2 months ago, right? November, December, October, I think that was the worst. Now interest rates are only improving, right? CPI is coming out, the Consumer Pricing Index. When it comes to inflation. Numbers are improving consistently when it comes to the bond market. The Federal Reserve did their last month, rate hike of 25 basis points. Okay, so they did the 25 basis point rate hike, which did not even impact mortgages at all. Right, those rate hikes don't impact us. It impacts the primary markets.
Yes.
So they did these small little shifts and changes already, and we're seeing the economy, get into, I want to say, a better place. Where do I think rates are going to go? I think they're only going to continuously come back down. Now, the factor with that is I have conversations with clients all the time, and they say, hey, wouldn't I rather wait to buy when the rates are further down? And my thought process and what I explain to them is, when rates were under 3% on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, and you're submitting an offer on a home back in 2020 and 2021,
right,
you're competing a lot, right? So would you rather buy a home today on X value, or would you want to buy that same home, let's say, and compete against 14 other cash or non-cash buyers?
Correct.
Because you could always refinance.
Yes, you could always.
Yeah. So refinancing is a big deal. You could always refinance your home. So my thought process is, hey, if you find the home that you love, you have that 2-year consistent employment, and you're able to afford those payments, maybe it's not the home you love, but that's the home that's going to appreciate in value, right? Then, of course, jump into that house, because you can't beat the markets. It's impossible to beat the market.
It's impossible to beat the market, or even properly time it.
Time it's very
that's the main thing I see.
Yeah.
But in my heart, I just don't see interest rates going down below 5 or into the 4.5 in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
That's my crystal ball moment, right?
Yeah.
So, but I see it going down to 5 somewhere around 2026.
Okay.
All right, because we're still going through the supply is so low. The house supply is extremely low.
That's a big deal. Supply and demand is low.
Exactly, and the baby boomers and also Gen Z, Gen X, or whatever you come at, ABC, Gen ABC, they need to come into the market. They're graduating with tech jobs, and there's going to be a tremendous amount of money still. Yeah. And the Feds will constantly see this and say, you know what, let's keep on raising the interest rate because demand is still high. Yeah. And that's where I see things going.
So I don't know how low they're going to go, but I definitely think they're not going to be higher than where they're at today.
Yes.
Right. So, my prediction is once they get below, let's say 5.25 on the 30-year fixed rate par, we're going to see a ton more buyers and a ton more investors.
I know there's going to be a ton of investors for sure.
Yeah, and with short inventory too.
Yes.
Which is a big deal.
I'm seeing a lot of sellers, I'm seeing a lot of appraisals coming in low. Okay. Have you been seeing that lately on your site?
I don't want to say too low, like like 10, 20 grand is normal right now.
Okay. Yeah. That's what you consider too low. I'm seeing 50 grand.
Okay. I haven't seen that one yet. Not yet. Not any of my deals. I hope not to see any
Thank God for that.
low appraisals.
I'm seeing a lot of low appraisals, and also I've seen a lot of sellers holding on.
Yeah.
All right. Just because the low appraisals do come in, a lot of sellers are feeling like I'm not going to let my property go for anything less than what I believe in.
Yeah.
All right, because a lot of sellers, when they did buy the house, they are doing so much upgrades. And it's not basic upgrades. What I'm noticing, they're really doing high-end upgrades to their home that even though the appraisal cannot appraise it properly, they, in their heart, know exactly what their property is worth. Yeah. So if you're a buyer out there facing this low appraisal, understand these sellers more likely might take a hard stance on their property and not willing to negotiate with you. Yeah. Just because they know inventory is still low in the market and they have the patience to wait just a little bit. Don't be afraid to come out of pocket to make up for the difference. Yeah. That's my advice to you.
Yeah, and that's a big deal.
Within reason.
Yeah, within reason. Yeah, and that's a big deal. That's something that I have to strategize with a lot of buyers today. We sit down, we talk, and we say, okay, let's say you're putting 10 or 15% down. You're looking at this home. If the appraisal comes in low, and you need to cover that difference, let's reduce that down payment. Right, your payment's going to be a little bit higher, but that way you're not going to have to go and liquefy more stock or more bond or go out and try to get a little bit more funds or ask for those gifts. So that's part of our strategy today with our buyers because appraisals are based off of what? Most recent sales in the last 30, 60, 90 days. Right? They're going to look at the square footage of the home. They're going to look at the school district, area, region, bedrooms, bathrooms, all that. Exactly. Which is also, it's kind of, I want to say, speculative, right? Somebody goes and 2 months ago, the market was way different than it is today, right? Yes. But if they can't find comparables or homes that sold in that similar area, what happens? The appraisal comes in a little bit lower. Exactly. Right? So I've had to rebuttal appraisals too.
Yes.
Yeah. And
we always challenge appraisals,
which sometimes it sucks.
Because these appraisals could miss a home or two in a certain radius. All right. So tell your real estate, work with your real estate agent. Tell them that, hey, could you pull comps in this neighborhood? Yeah. See as much as possible compared to what the appraisal has on their report and see what we could submit to rebuttal that appraisal report. That's key.
Talking about, and I know you own your own company, right?
Yes.
So talking about that when it comes to realtors, it kind of shocks me. I've heard of this before. I don't personally work with anyone that I want to say that I'm close with from a business partner standpoint. Okay. That people would submit offers on homes that they did not run comps on. That shocks me. If a client comes to you and says, hey, I want to put in an offer on 123 Main Street, and you don't run comparables, right? You're not doing your job, period. Why? Because the appraisal can come in low. Correct. That client could be, hey, it's a multiple offer situation. You have to waive XYZ contingency. So you need to run comparables so that When the appraiser goes out and does the same exact thing that you just did, right, the property will appraise. That's a huge deal. And realtors that don't do that kind of ticks me off.
And I
Royale, it ticks me off.
Don't take it personal. Don't let it tick you off.
What are you doing? You know?
The main thing here is, you always want to be ahead of the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. That'd be a wrong phrase to say ahead of a game.
Yeah.
I would just, because I'm a real estate agent that like to fight fires before they start.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of my main things that I try to do is I like to over-inform the client so that they could have a clear expectation of what to expect during this negotiation period. Yeah. Now, understand this: if you're a new buyer on the market, you should be negotiating from the very beginning. All right? Until you lose 3 or 4 homes and you're tired of viewing homes, that's when you could just offer whatever you want to offer just because you're tired of actually looking more for other homes, or you're tired of commuting back and forth. And our freeways here. Freeways here and there looking for the home. So it could be stressful, and I get it. But understand this. I tell all my buyers never to fall in love with any home. Yeah. All right? Because majority of the time when they do fall in love with that home and they do not get their offer accepted, or somebody steals the deal from them just because they offer $10,000, $50,000 over asking price, at least they're not disappointed and they could get back in the car and go find another home.
Yeah.
In the case where they're not formally prepped in that matter, then they're stuck on their home and they don't want to look at any other home further. So try not to fall in love with with any home during the home searching process. And once you find that home and try to negotiate on every home as possible at first. And once you're tired, then you could just offer whatever you do. All my buyers and to us could attest to this. I like to negotiate,
Oh, yeah.
Majority of the time, and he knows. A client could tell me, hey, offer 550, and I tell him, no, don't offer 550 or don't whatsoever. Let's start at 520 or 510. It's just my nature. I grew up negotiating from the start. Yeah. All right, and once we know the true seller's numbers, then we could adjust accordingly. Because let's say the seller wanted 560, or let's go with 800,000. The seller wanted 800,000, for instance, and all of a sudden, this is what I'll tell the client: let's offer 720. We offered the 720. The seller's gonna rebuttal. It's either the seller say go to hell or whatever it is the seller want to say, but the seller majority of the time will rebuttal and say, okay, I'll take 770. So at least we now know what is the seller's bottom line.
Yeah.
And then we could adjust ourselves accordingly to go for the win. So try to negotiate. Be patient. The people that do not negotiate and giving 100,000, 150 over asking price right now, they're a little bit underwater. They will recover once the market picks back up, but they're under the water. What if in the case where they need to change their jobs, right? Because they relocated to Bellevue, and all of a sudden their company is calling them to relocate back to Texas or relocate to Texas. What are you going to do to the house? Yeah. Right? It's either you rent it out, and maybe you might not receive the appropriate amount of money to cover your current mortgage, then you're stuck because you cannot really sell it. All right? So you're forced to sell it under
circumstances.
Under circumstances. Maybe you have the corporate company that has that relocation prime, then you're lucky, but majority of you guys don't. So try to negotiate in the beginning, and if you're tired of viewing homes, then you could go for giving money away. Yeah. I do not like giving money away. I like to negotiate till I know for a fact I can't negotiate any further.
Yeah, which is a big deal. I can attest to that personally. Seeing the last, so you helped my brother actually fund it this month on his house. And a big factor from negotiation, right, is working with the right real estate agent like Royal, making sure that, hey, they do the numbers. And that's one thing that I really, really liked about you was when you were helping him out, he would call me all the time and say, Terrace, what do you think about this? What do you think? And you right away, we showed up, you had comps, which is a big deal, right? We went back and forth. And you're like, all right, well, we're going to offer $90,000 under asking. And I'm like, my brother was
his wife like, what?
Him and his wife were like, what? You're like, oh, no.
No, this is what we want to pay. Yeah. I said, I know what you want to pay. Let's start right here.
Yeah, like, I know what you're willing to pay for it, but we're going to offer $90,000 under asking.
He said, I like you already.
Yeah. And we submitted that offer, and we ended up getting the house with the seller credits and everything over $70,000 under, or really $70,000 under what they wanted for that deal.
Exactly.
And the crazy thing is, which actually it's not crazy, but My brother was actually willing to pay more because that was a great home for him and his family. The location was phenomenal. Now, you saved them a ton of money. And that's what it means to work with an experienced realtor that's able to save you upwards of $70,000 or more when it comes to your real estate deals, right? That's why I always say, hey, hire a professional that knows what they're doing, that understands the market, that's able to go out and negotiate for you on your behalf at the highest level. That's what you hire a real estate agent for.
Absolutely.
That's what it's for. So you're first off, thank you because you saved a lot of money, which is fantastic.
I looked at that house, not to put numbers out there.
Yeah.
And prior to the downturn of the market, that house was actually worth $200,000 or more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So understand this.
I saw your comps. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he reached out to me yesterday. It's like, is this right? I said, yes. I do not manipulate nothing.
Yeah.
Even after the sale of a home or whatsoever, I stick with all my past clients.
Yeah.
And whatever complimentary I could give as a tool so you could gain vast knowledge, that's what I'm going to do. You know? So he set out on an AI system that I put him up, that's monitoring his house, telling him exactly what his property is worth every week. And also it allows him to manipulate it in case if he wants to challenge, find ways to bring down the interest rate. It has those things. And also that system also tells him what our Airbnb is going for in his, really particular area. So it's a vast
we'll connect
system
on that system.
Yes, we'll talk more about that.
Which is great. So because we're going to have to do a second shoot.
It's tool, yes, most definitely.
We're going to do a second shoot for sure. As we're wrapping up, let me ask you this.
Okay.
You're a broker, right? So, and you also run your own company.
Managing broker, different.
Managing broker, yes. Managing broker.
Yes.
You run your own company. You do a lot when it comes to business. I know you have a lot of experience with business ownership.
Absolutely.
Because I know you were still very successful, what's your 5-year vision? Where do you see yourself or where do you want to be in the next 5 years?
Well, in the next 5 years, I want to actually cover 2 states.
Okay.
One being my main state here, the city of Washington. I'd say the state of Washington.
Yeah.
And the next one will be California.
California.
Yes. In the Beverly Hills area. So that's my 5-year.
5-year vision. So covering Washington State and covering California.
Correct.
So both areas on a big scale.
On a big scale.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have already boots on the ground in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
Where I need to now provide some form of coverage in that area.
Yeah. Oh, Beverly Hills. Yeah, that's a good market to
be in. It is. It's your market.
Even 1 or 2 deals in Beverly Hills would be a good market.
But overall, I one of my biggest, I love meeting people.
Yeah.
I love hearing about people's life. I like sharing my life with them one-on-one.
Yeah.
I'm a people's person. I love to laugh, giggle, whatsoever.
Yeah.
And as Terrace would say, I'm a hell of a negotiator. So
yeah. No, this guy's an animal when it comes to negotiating. Beast. Yeah.
And you're a beast too when it comes down to maintaining clients,
we do what we gotta do,
and making sure they're overly informed. So that's one thing that gravitated me towards you. You're a hell of a talker.
I
love it. I love it.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
And from an operations side, team side, no.
Yes, you practice what you preach, and that's what it comes down to. Yes. And just to say, at the end of the day, it's all about trust. Our business is all about trust. If an individual doesn't trust you, they're not going to work with you. So I work hard to let people know that I am here for you. There's a lot of real estate agents out there that don't have your best interest in their heart. I'm here to stay with you, and I could tell you in my 20 years of business, I have so many properties where at the end of the day, I could go meet a lot of my past clients, knock on their door, and they'll be welcoming me in. So I sleep good at night, just knowing for a fact that I have a lot of friends and I've made a lot of family out of this process.
Yes, which is phenomenal. So, friends, first off, Royal, thank you for coming on today.
My pleasure.
If you guys are looking for a phenomenal real estate agent that's well-versed, seasoned, and I want to say one of the best negotiators that I personally know, reach out to Royal. You're going to see his contact information at the end of this video. Thank you, my friend, for coming on board, and we will definitely stay connected, and we will do another shoot. We have to.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye.